Today, I want to talk about how I got my first client starting my own CPA firm last year and hopefully help you do the same. My name is Mike, and last summer I left my corporate job to start my own CPA firm. I've been bootstrapping it all myself, and after about the first 9 months, I was able to grow my client list to about 100. I didn't purchase any clients, and I service them all myself. So, getting clients is probably one of the first problems that you're going to run into starting a service business. Whether you're a tax preparer, a bookkeeper, or even a window washer, you have a skill or service, and you need to convince other people that it's valuable enough for them to pay for it. And that could be tough, but we need to be realistic. This is one of those things that is going to vary greatly depending upon the individual and your professional network. But I have a little bit of a mental framework that has really helped me get to where I am so far and really helps break this down into smaller components. There are certain prerequisites that I like to think about them. And if I'm meeting those, I know that I'm on the right track. So, first and foremost, people need to know you exist. And in today's environment, as cliche as it sounds, I don't think it's ever been easier to make yourself known. And I'll give you an example. So last summer, one of the first things that I did after leaving my last job was make a post on LinkedIn announcing my firm. Wasn't anything fancy, just announce what I was doing and my name of my firm and who I wanted to help. That post quickly got over 130,000 impressions. So that means that post, which if you think about it is really just a veiled advertisement, it reached over 130,000 screens or was seen over 100,000 times, all for $0. I find it really hard to believe that there is not a better free marketing tool for small business owners than social media. And let's be honest, a lot of accountants aren't willing to put themselves out there like this in front of other people. I'm not saying you have to make videos, but just starting with something simple on a social media platform is going to put you ahead of a lot of others. Well, you might say, Mike, are my ideal clients really on LinkedIn or, insert XYZ social media post here? And the answer is probably no. But I don't think that has to be the case, and I'll tell you why. So after making that post, one of my old coworkers from a larger accounting firm had reached out. He had a family friend that was going through some issues with their accounting and they needed some help getting the bookkeeping cleaned up. And then they needed someone to file their tax returns that coming busy season. So he made the introduction, and then a couple calls later, I landed my first business client, all within a month. It doesn't have to be LinkedIn either. If you're using Facebook or Instagram a lot, it might make sense to start there. I think, though, that for service businesses especially, LinkedIn has a lot higher potential for quality leads. And that's because those people are usually in a more serious or business mindset when scrolling through that site. And I think that there's a lot more people in your network that are lurking on those sites reading posts than you realize. And there's people I haven't talked to in years that I used to work with that'll DM me giving me feedback on some of my posts. You just never really know who's watching. Maybe online isn't for you. I don't think it's necessarily smart to have zero online presence, but seeds need to be planted in the real world too. I joined my local chamber of commerce and I keep business cards on me wherever I go. When I get into conversations with friends, family, other colleagues, people I haven't seen in a while, they know what I do, they know I'm a CPA, and they like to ask questions. That's just how it goes. And I like to give them answers. And believe it or not, that's led to invitations to golf outings and other events. When you're first starting out, I think it's really important to say yes to as much as you can, probably more than you otherwise would, because that will connect you with either ideal clients or people who might know ideal clients for you. So, what happens after? You can't just make one social media post and expect people to run and pay you. It worked out for me in my case a couple of times, but that was the result of hard work and a little bit of luck. So, the second part of this equation is that people need to trust you. And trust is easy to lose, hard to obtain, all of that stuff. But I think an effective way of helping build that trust over time is by establishing a presence and being consistent. After I saw how my first LinkedIn post did, you can imagine I wanted to post more. So I started small though, and I only posted about once a week. The goal was to really get ahead of the information I wanted to share, and I focused on helping people first and foremost. I didn't want every post to come off like a free commercial for me. I wanted to focus on having a voice and communicating a certain message or conveying some information that I thought was valuable to my audience. And once you've done that for a little bit, you can start to ramp it up a little bit. So I'm probably only still at 2 or 3 times a week, but it's a lot easier than when I first started. But the key is to start small and not to overthink it. It doesn't have to be some extravagant discovery or thought leading breakthrough that you're sharing with the world for the first time that no one's ever heard of before, it's okay to say things that other people have already said. And that's just by nature going to be the case a lot of the time. But by putting out consistent, correct, valuable information to your audience, you're going to start to develop that trust with them. And then they're going to look to you when they realize that they need the services that you provide. With all that being said, you can't be desperate either. A couple days ago, I was on the phone with someone talking about my phone bill. I wanted to lower my bill because there was a charge on there that I couldn't cancel on my own online. The whole time on that phone call, they were talking about other bundles and trying to cross sell me on other services and upselling. And it became too much. I was getting really frustrated. I got to the point where I didn't trust that person for the rest of the call. And I even got as far as to the point where I was considering changing my phone provider. Handling someone's individual or business financials is a deeply personal service, and that calls for a lot of trust. If you need them more than they need you, it is going to show. And I'm not afraid to be honest. When I first started, I targeted financial advisors, lawyers, insurance brokers, other people that have dedicated clients because a lot of time they need people to help do their taxes, to do their bookkeeping, and it's a service that they don't already provide. Adding another layer to this, I started contracting during my first season with another wealth management firm, reviewing their returns for 125 an hour. And this worked out great for me. I made some mistakes along the way with my relationships, but this helped work out itself for me so that I could pay my bills. And rather than spending more time than I would have liked working for clients that didn't value my services or undercharge my services, I could spend that time being more selective with my clients and growing organically to build my ideal client base. And that just helps build a more sustainable business long term without sacrificing cash flow in the short term. The best part of these relationships is that they're sticky. Good professionals like working with other good professionals. When they're referring their clients out to other people, their reputation is on the line in some respect. So when they find someone that does something really well, they're going to try to stick with them every single time. People running accounting businesses really like to talk about a snowball effect, and I experienced the same. So when I first announced my firm, there was a big buzz, had a good influx of clients, but when I got to about December, like going through that whole first summer going into the fall, I probably went into December with about 20 clients total, which is okay for your first few months, but it wasn't where I wanted to be. I was doing a lot of work with social media. I was talking to a lot of people, but the clients just weren't signing up. That changed completely in February. Referrals from my existing clients were coming in and signing. People had seen my content and wanted to work with me. Everything was really coming to fruition. I attribute a lot of that to the first 6 months where I was showing up every day, no matter what, putting in the work. And third, people need to see your value. I never bought the idea of giving away too much information or giving away free tax advice or accounting advice. The real value is in the implementation. The best clients that I worked with are the people that want to work with me. They're not paying $1,000 for a tax return or some secret strategy to save on their taxes. They're working with me because they want the peace of mind. They know that I'm going to follow through on my promises and I'm going to do the job right. Those are the best clients. And those are the ones that you develop good relationships with, because that's really what this is all about. It's about developing relationships and how you get people coming back each year. If people know you exist, if they trust you, and if they see your value, I promise they're going to start signing up. Whenever I make a social media post or make a decision with my business, I check to see if I'm taking steps toward meeting those 3 prerequisites. Nothing changes in my approach. I just continue to show up. Simple as that. If you like this video, it would really mean a lot if you liked it. And if you want to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.